Well, it is a good Sunday, November 14th, exactly 8 a.m. on the dot here. So it's good to see everyone here. And, this is kind of a serious topic that I wanted to bring up. That's because I didn't want to do the show yesterday because I wanted to see if there's any news updates on this main topic here. And it turns out there actually was an update on this topic. And this is actually something new. But before I get into that, I finally decided to permanently actually make Allie a co-host on my show. So my certain co-host, welcome on the show again.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. Just having my coffee as usual. Gotta have my coffee every day because, well, I think people have figured out how I am without coffee.
Yeah, of course, especially you say it every time in the Furry Raiders group.
Well, I mean, coffee is my thing. I don't know why it is. It's just like crazy, but let's just get deep down into this because I know this is going to be a huge subject here because like this has been a nationwide thing that's been happening here in the US that here we go. I'm going to put this up real quick. Did the unions get what they wanted after being overworked and underpaid? And what I mean about that is there's been a lot of stuff going on at this healthcare company called Kaiser Permanente. I'm sure you've heard of it, Allie.
Um, yeah, well, I have not heard about it until you said something about it one night, and I really do not know that much about it because, of course, I do not live in Hawaii like you do, but I'm willing to try to understand the whole situation.
Ah. But it mostly Kaiser is actually, unfortunately, I hate to say this, it's California based.
Well, I feel pretty stupid.
Don't worry about it. But all right, let's bring this up and let's read about it because I've actually got a couple of things that was actually from a meeting that I went to actually because I'm part of that union, the local union that I support over here in Hawaii called Local 5 Unite. And I actually have screenshots of what was actually said on and I'll explain how and why this strike actually came about to begin with because some strikes do happen for legitimate reasons. So let me bring this up real quick. So here we go. So this is actually the first one that I wanted to do actually on why this happened. So this is what actually is actually a legitimate reason, but it says why we do not have a deal. Kaiser believes our workers are overpaid. They refuse to follow a previous agreement to conduct a market wage study jointly and secretly did one on their own. Gee, that already sounds suspicious as it is, doesn't it?
My bad. Um, yes, it does sound very suspicious. Like,
Alright,
it does.
it does. Alright, let me continue here. They then use this fatally flawed study to make the case that we are at minimum 26% over the market median? Okay, that doesn't even sound right at all. Because I know for a fact there's a lot of people out there that are not even paid enough to where they actually have to work multiple jobs. Even after we shot holes in the study and pointed out why it could not be relied on, they continue to push it to use it to push a doom and gloom story to try to convince us to sell out future generations of workers. Basically, they want us to let's see, wait a minute here. Basically, they want us to agree to a two-tier wage structure that would actually pay future workers much less and cause great division in our unions. It would also make our staffing crisis worse. What do you think about this so far, Ellie, hearing about this?
Yeah, I I I think this is very like not good in the situation, like of the whole thing going on. Like, yeah,
Yeah, and hold on, we got a live comment here about that one part. Bub says, very sus. Yeah, very sus indeed. And this is actually real facts from Kaiser, Hawaii. And if you imagine if it's happening here, that's why it's a nationwide strike that was actually being threatened. It wasn't just in here. I think it was like California also, Washington, Oregon. I don't remember all the states at the moment, but this is actually huge what's going on. But let's get back to this real quick. And then this final part where it says, in addition, after 20 months of hell fighting this pandemic, they're lowballing us on wage increases and have not acted on equities between regions within regions. Hmm. And it says also, for example, I think this is a perfect example. Hawaii's workers do not have the same level of health benefits as Southern California workers. Okay, that's where they're really screwing us over here in Hawaii.
yeah,
That's actually how you really this is how you piss people off. This is how you create a strike to begin with, of course.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
then and then this last part here where it says right here, even though Southern California region has effectively taken over the Hawaii region, which is actually true, and ever since that happened, well, Kaiser here in Hawaii has actually gone to shit. So it's very interesting, isn't it?
yes, very interesting.
Yeah, it also says here in Hawaii, they are also dragging out first contract bargaining for pharmacists and physical therapists. You will hear more about that later in the program, which I have more of that here in these more of these screenshots for today. So what do you? I know you don't know much about healthcare, Ellie, but I think what do you think about this so far? I mean, this is legitimate reason to, of course, to get pissed off, and of course, you want to strike.
Yes, there was actually an issue going on, I believe, somewhere in my state, which is Mississippi, and some other states as well. I believe somewhere in the South that had the same issue like that. But it was with John Deere Tractor Supply and with I think with a cereal company called Kellogg's as well, I believe.
Oh yeah,
So
there's been this pandemic has caused a lot, but it doesn't mean that all these healthcare companies will actually. I mean, it's not right for them to actually take advantage of their workers and advantage of their patients.
yeah,
Okay, hold
like
on. I got another live comment real quick. So Boombox is asking, "What's Kaiser?" So Kaiser Permanente, you could actually Google this. Is actually a major. It's not really a major, but it is one of the biggest healthcare hospital companies out there. Like they're mostly in California though, but you'll also find a lot here in Hawaii. But like I said, this issue has been happening not just here, but also in other states. So, so if you want to check that out, Boombox, Kaiser Permanente is their name, and I'll explain later on how big they are because you guys would be surprised at these next couple of slides that I have. So let's get back into this real quick. Trying to remember how to do this. There we go. So the next slide here. So can Kaiser afford to invest in patient care and workers? The clear answer is actually yes, because right now Kaiser is sitting at $44 billion right now. Not just million, billion. They could do whatever the hell they want basically. They could cover anyone and everyone. It's pretty interesting, right, Allie?
yes, it's very interesting.
Now, here's the next part that really pisses. This is what pissed everyone off And a lot of healthcare companies did this. They took advantage of the pandemic. They actually literally forced everyone to like literally pay up, and they didn't want to raise their wages. And this is why a lot of strikes have been happening. But it says right here in 2020, Kaiser's net out income was north of 6 billion during the pandemic era. How do you get $6 billion? Talk about being tight, stingy, and they seriously don't even want to open up their purses, it seems. Even though right now there's all this inflation that's going on, all these gas price hikes, and you actually make $6 billion? That's just wrong. Very wrong.
Yes, it is very wrong. It is very not fair. It didn't mean to say very. I meant to say it's not fair they're they're doing that. It is very ridiculous on how they're doing that.
Well, it even says right here, Kaiser even turned down 500 million of CARES Act money and said they did not need it. Well, yeah, of course you don't need 500 million if you have already got 44 billion. Why do you need more? But still, if they're not actually going to open up their money and their wallets and actually try to help us out here, I mean, come on. I know a lot of people that work here in Kaiser in Hawaii that were very pissed off that when they found out that they made 6 billion during the pandemic. I mean, Allie, wouldn't you be pissed off if you work for a company, a healthcare company, that didn't want to give you a pay raise during the inflation with gas price hikes, all these shortages, and they actually makes a $6 billion profit off of you?
Yes, like I am not a medical healthcare professional, but if I we, so I really would not entirely so I do not entirely understand about this, but if I was, I would understand about it. So like yes, I am very pissed about the whole situation that these medical healthcare professionals are getting at the moment.
Okay, well, if you think that's a bunch of crap, I actually have an email. You have to read this email, and I will put this up on the screen, and I'll even read it out loud. What Kaiser actually had the nerve to actually say, and this was Kaiser here in Hawaii, because of course we were all striking because well we got pissed off that they made a shit ton of money and they didn't want to give us any more. But this is probably the biggest thing, and this is the biggest bunch of shit if you ask me. Check out this email I took a screenshot of. This is a real email. Like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to read it or not. Let me see if I can zoom it in real quick. Um, if I remember. Ah, here we go. But it says right here that Kaiser Permanente. This is actually from them. You could tell because it says this is actually from their official email, and this is what they wrote. Kaiser Permanente was recently notified by Unite Here Local 5, which is basically here in Hawaii, which represents some support of the staff here in Hawaii, and some of our clinics and hospital, and they intended to strike beginning at 5:30 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time on Monday, November 22nd. And it says right here, this is their bullshit answer. We're very disappointed in the union's action. We've been bargaining in good faith with Local 5 as a member of the Alliance of Healthcare Unions? Nah. No, 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 no. That's not gonna fly with anyone. No. What do you think about this email so far, Allie?
Yes, I think this is a bunch of bullshit as well because like there is proof that which you have that they're not doing a good job at being fair with this sort of situation and they're trying to lie to cover that up, which makes it worse on their behalf.
It does. See, there is something wrong here because clearly let's see. How do I put this? You bitch about actually people striking, but yet you have $44 billion in your profit. I mean, oh, we got a live comment. Hold on here. This is actually perfect too, Allie. Check this out. Boombox says the email is blowing smoke up their ass. Yes, yes, it is, and this is the exact email that I have. I still have this email. This is actually a real email that they sent out to everyone, all the patients, actually, just all the patients, because I'm actually both. I both work for them, and I'm actually get health care under them too. So but I was able to get this, and I was like, wait a minute, I know exactly what's going on. They're actually trying to make it look like it's the union's fault when it's actually Kaiser's fault for this. So the other thing is, here's the other thing that's also interesting where it says, of course, they also give you the email, well, not email, but the link in their email to the description. You should also check that out if you want to. But it says right here, we want to assure you that in the event of a strike, our facilities will be staffed by our trained and experienced managers. Well, this strike that was going to happen, well, I think it involved maybe roughly, I think it was like over like 30,000 workers, I think. So this was actually going to be something major. So how are you supposed to actually keep your stuff? How are you supposed to keep the hospital staffed when everyone's literally in picket lines? That's what was going to be happening.
Yeah, like it is. It is a fucking dumpster fire with in at this point with this situation.
It is. And yet they're trying to actually use this email to cover their asses when people already know what's going on. There's already proof. If you're to even research on how much money Kaiser currently has, it would show you the 44 billion. I think they could actually spare some money to give people just a little bit of a raise at least during this inflation time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even asking for much. I think it was like a 4% raise. I think that was it. Just 4%. Is that really gonna fucking kill them?
Yes, it will not kill them, but apparently they want to make a big deal out of it.
Yeah. Oh, here's another interesting comment, real quick. Boombox says they're probably gonna get temporary workers if others go on strike. They did have that plan in place for certain ones, but here's the thing, Boombox, and I could actually verify to this, and this was actually brought up on the Furry Raiders a couple of months ago. They've also been closing down clinics permanently, like shut down for good, to where they've actually been screwing a couple of towns, like here in Hawaii, I heard also in California, and they haven't even reopened them yet, even though they have the money to do it. So I don't know if that was gonna be the plan for them or not. If they were just gonna either like get temporary workers or close down more clinics and piss more people off too. I mean that was actually a pretty interesting thing to talk about a couple of months ago. But here's the thing though, this was actually this email was actually literally came in. I think it was 2 days ago actually, because the strike for the main rest of the U.S., like the mainland, was actually supposed to happen starting tomorrow, the 15th. And Hawaii, we decided to pick Thanksgiving weekend, which was starting November 22nd on purpose, to where we could actually all take Thanksgiving off and really screw people over. But this is actually an update too that's what I was waiting for. But luckily um, this update actually came out not too long ago, actually. So check out this newest update, actually. This was actually 19 hours ago when they added this story. So it turns out because they're actually afraid of the strike happening, by the way. They were afraid of this strike because this is how fast they actually finally decided to actually open up and actually make a deal. So zoom this in a bit. We'll blow it up here. But it says right here, because this is actually a news story that's here in Hawaii, and this is actually true, because it wasn't just they finally made a deal, not just here in Hawaii, but they also decided to finally strike a deal over there in the main U.S. So it says right here, union calls off strike against Kaiser Permanente after tentative agreement reached. So it took them how long though? Because it says right here that the union had to plan to strike beginning November 22nd here in Hawaii. Because the rest of the strike was supposed to happen tomorrow, the 15th. But it says right here that in a statement, Kaiser said the tentative agreement maintains industry leading wage and benefit packages for our alliance representative employees. And yes, this is actually the union that I'm actually a part of, where I got those slides from. It says right here, following the new contract, the union will have to work with its membership to vote and ratify the agreement. So we're going to see how that goes. But it says right here by Unite Here Hawaii, which is actually they do have a Twitter account, they have an Instagram account, and they do have a Facebook account where it says we did it, which is actually true because we were actually I was actually part of some of the strikes that were actually previous ones that was actually happening because when they shut down the clinic in my town, which is it's called the Nani Keola Kaiser Clinic, and you can look it up. It's still closed, by the way. I don't know when they're going to reopen that because everyone's pissed off about that. But it says right here, we've reached a tentative agreement with Kaiser Permanente. Victory for our patients and our future. So I'm glad that this happened, though. But it also says right here, Kaiser Permanente's two-tier proposal did not make it into the final agreement. Because if they were actually to do a two-tier proposal, from what I heard, it would actually divide everyone, literally, because you'll have one, I think it was like one tier with more pay and one tier with less pay. I don't remember exactly the entire thing though, but it's pretty damn interesting though. But I know was a short show, but this was something I just wanted to bring up because they did finally make an agreement here, but it took them until the last day for the mainland because they were going to strike tomorrow. They weren't kidding about this strike. This strike was going to be real, and we were going to do it on the November 22nd. But Allie, what do you think about that though? That they actually decided to finally open up their purses and wallets and finally decide to agree to the deal at like literally the last day for the mainland.
Yes. Um, I'm not so sure. I, I'm not really sure what to think about that. But hey, as long as something was worked out, then I guess it's okay.
Yeah, well, here's the thing though that I'm gonna ask, and this is gonna be the permanent question here. How long is this agreement gonna go for before they actually go back on their word? Because this is not the first time that this has happened, especially since we're still dealing with this pandemic, unfortunately, here in 2021. And we're gonna see how this goes. I will keep giving updates, of course, on the show on what's gonna be happening. The only thing that I'm still questioning on is let's see here. Let's see, what was the thing? Oh yeah. In my town, when are they going to reopen the clinic that they had that was convenient for the west side of Hawaii? See, that's the thing that's kind of a huge ass question mark that we're still going to be fighting about because it's not really helping the elderly people for sure. Allie, I think honestly, Allie, like, wouldn't you think that healthcare companies would actually care for elderly people?
I honestly, whole throughout this whole podcast, I've been really confused on the whole situation. I've understand some things of it, like like there was some issues with like like them with something to do with medical related things, but then things got sorted out whenever Kaiser knew that there was going to be a strike happening. Um, but like either way, I just hope things work out okay. I'm hoping that they can stick to that agreement that they that um that the people were gonna fight for, and
Oh yeah.
that what Kaiser and on what Kaiser said that they would do in order to keep from the strike from happening.
Yeah, but here's the thing that I find interesting, and you'll find this interesting too. Why did they try to cover it up?
The, in my opinion, I think that they tried to cover it up because they were afraid. They and that isn't like I'm not bashing on them for being afraid at all because that is something in human nature in general. We all do things like we all like do things like to try to cover something up out of fear and all that. That's just in nature. But like uh shit. Yeah, I just and in the way whenever they were like saying that, oh, the way that they were saying like, oh, we're gonna like make a deal or something like that, so they don't do a strike.
Yeah,
When,
but here's the thing though. The question is this: how long is this deal going to be in place for? Because let's put it this way: if this so-called deal is actually supposed to work, then I'm actually bringing this up because I see another good comment here brought up by Bub that says closing clinics when you have the money to keep them open, that's kind of effed up. Now, I will actually explain that a little bit more into detail real quick. The reason why I bring that up is because, well, here's the thing that I find more interesting. The clinic that they closed in my town was just remodeled. Why waste all that money then shut it down? Just makes you wonder. They seriously got their motive wrong here. I mean, they're supposed to be like care. They're supposed to care for us, and yet they're acting the exact opposite. They don't give a crap. They're only in it for the money.
yes, like there is going to be a serious issue. There's going to be like I mean, there's going to be like many serious issues in the future because medical clinics in general are technically there to help people whenever they're hurt or something like that. And 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 if medical clinics in your area or wherever, if they're not open for people that need medical attention, and if that person and if people that are in that situation like potentially die if they do not get medical attention right away, that can cause many lawsuits on their hands.
Yeah, well, speaking of the clinic closure, I just found this article again that was actually talked about. It's funny because when we did that one Furries Raiders episode, it was actually a family member that I actually had with me. I don't know if you remember that.
Hmm. No, I do not remember that.
Okay, well, this is actually still on the same subject, anyways. I will bring it up on the screen. What we actually talked about was actually this. This is what they actually said about the clinic. And this clinic, by the way, is still closed. Why haven't they reopened it? But it says equity issue. That's their excuse. And it says right here, too, that it was closed during the pandemic. I mean, yeah, but the pandemic is almost over with. You've got $44 billion. Why do you want to close down a clinic that's like look at this pic, like it's not even that big. I mean, yeah, you can tell it was just recently remodeled. Why do you want to close down something like that?
I mean, like I said, if if they get lawsuits from patients dying whenever they did not get any medical attention because of their clinics being closed, that's on them.
I mean, yeah, this article is definitely something because a lot of elderly people, here in Hawaii, they're called kapunas, by the way, which is right here. I'll highlight that, blow it up. Well, you know what I mean when I say blow it up. Like, that's actually how they actually say, elderly here in Hawaii. They actually say kupunas. Kind of an interesting fact, isn't it?
Yeah, I find it funny of how they call them kapunas.
Yep, but that's actually the Hawaiian word for elderly. But let's put it this way: Kaiser does not care about the kapunas. Clearly, bunch of crap.
Yes.
But yeah, I will definitely get more updates on what's going to be happening because let's see what happens between now and Friday though because if this deal doesn't even last for next week, that strike is still might actually happen on the 22nd. Yeah, they did strike a deal with the mainland, but what about over here? What about that closed clinic? That's still an issue, isn't it?
I don't know. We'll have to see if there's any updates coming up by. But okay, are you doing another episode like next Sunday or
Well,
Saturday?
oh, yeah, that reminds me, Allie. I think we've discussed this before the show. And I think this is going to be an interesting series. We're going to be doing a second series. You said it was going to start Thursday, you think?
Yes, this is kind of a second series that's related to this series, but it's also mainly my thing as well because I came up with the idea. Um,
Yeah. Well, we've been bouncing ideas off of each other, of course.
yeah, so like every Thursday, I'll be doing a live stream of talking about drama that goes on within the furry fandom, and this sort of series is going to be called the Drama Pup because I'm a pup that talks about drama within the furry fandom.
You mean kind of like on last week's show when we actually roasted that one fur.
Yes, and he's gonna be on one of my episodes too. I'm either deciding on choosing Odin Wolf for the first one, or
Ooh.
or that dragon one.
Yeah, I think his name is Garo Shadow Scale, I think. That was his name.
Yeah,
I think we'll definitely have to roast furs over an open fire. If you have any suggestions, put them in the comments or anything like that. And if we find any dirt, we'll definitely roast them over an open fire, right? Because it's
yeah.
soon going to be December. We need something to keep the fireplace going, right?
Yeah, we do. I definitely know one of the furries that I do want to talk about in one of the episodes as well is Drama Hound because he actually used to be part of the Furry Raiders, but then betrayed the Furry Raiders and started talking shit on his channel about the group. So like I will be talking about him as well. Like he's a total douchebag.
Oh yeah, definitely. But you guys, since it's no, I know, sometimes furry artists, how do I put this? Oh god, I can't even talk. I haven't even finished my coffee. What the hell? I'm sorry. Oh, I know I was gonna how to word it actually. Sometimes you gotta also appreciate some of the furry artists in the fandom. What they do is pretty amazing. And Allie here, and don't get mad at me. I will put this however I want it though, because it is my show. But you're gonna like this. You're gonna appreciate this. Trust me. If you guys know Allie out there, this is her username on Telegram. God, why I was gonna say Instagram? Like what the hell? I don't think
No,
you have
I
Instagram, do you?
no, I do not have an Instagram anymore. And Instagram is just ridiculous to me, so I deleted it like a while back. But like, yes, that is my username on Telegram.
Yeah, if you
And
guys
if you
know who she is, and like the artworks that you do, Allie, is super great. And and speaking of art, I know, yeah, it's almost that time of year. Oh boy, I am not excited, right? Can we just skip November 20? Can we just go from 19 to just 21 or something?
um, I mean, you can have your birthday early if you want. Either way, I am planning to draw something for you for your birthday. Either way, I'm gonna finish it up like days before your birthday, but like um yes, about art commissions. So I do traditional furry art of any kind for $15 each. Yes, I do have a Telegram, but I also have an email. I rather have people contact me through my email because it'd be easier on me. So like my email is asackett669 at gmail.com. And if y'all are interested in more information on my art commissions, please feel free to email me.
Yeah, we appreciate your art. Go buy art. It's well worth it. You do a lot of traditional art, right?
Yes, I that is the only thing that I do is traditional art. And plus it would be a big help for me because I am saving up for a convention that's in somewhere in July next year.
Yeah, and speaking of arts, and I will actually share this real quick. This is one that you actually did for me. And the details, I have to admit, it's pretty damn good.
Yes, they oh sorry. But like yes, thank you. Like it is a simple art style that I like because I'm not really into art anymore like I used to be. I'm just somewhat am, but I still want to do it as a career sort of thing for myself. But like yes, I really do appreciate that you like my art style. So like yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hold on here. Speaking of, so we're gonna call that one series that we're gonna be doing soon, Drama Pup, I think, right?
The drama pup.
Well, it
It's
looks
got
like we've already got a suggestion. Check this out, Allie. Boombox says, "How about Bubblegum Coyote, aka Ryan Hill, the MMF 2014 furry terrorist that's trying to get BK in the fandom?" Hmm. Do you know that
oh,
one?
I am not sure about that one, but I will look that up. So to that person that commented about that, I did talk about my email before. So like if you can contact me through my email about that, get like articles about it or something like that, then I will be sure to come up with something and try to talk about it on the show.
Oh yeah, definitely. But you know what? I think today it was definitely. I know it's a short one. I usually try to aim for an hour, but the main topic, of course, was that Kaiser stuff because people should know what's going on with some of these healthcare companies and some of these hospitals who so-called claim that the patients are the mission or something like that, that they care about you guys, when really they're just all only for the money. Money talks, bullshit walks. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
But yeah, Allie, of course, let me put this back up again. So if you want to contact Allie, you could either use her email or, mostly Telegram, which is, I think you guys probably know why the Telegram name is like that.
Yes, we're not gonna talk about it.
Even on a live stream? Come on.
We're not gonna talk about.
It's not like I always like to tease you all the time.
You're always a damn tease. Jeez.
Well, anyways, any final thoughts before we go back to what we were doing for today? As in like ending the show.
Um. Yes. Okay. Yeah. The whole Kaiser thing. I really hope the deal with them and the people that were gonna do the strike. I hope things work out for them. I hope clinics over there start opening back up and everything. Yeah. I hope things go well and yeah, I don't need to mention, and I don't need to mention my commissioning because I talked about it. And but the one more thing that I do want to talk about is that whenever you told me that whenever you said that you decided to make me your co-host at the beginning of the show, I I was I was so fucking happy. Like, thank you so much. I am forever grateful for that. I always wanted an entitlement like that. Thank you so much.
Well,
Like,
you're very
yeah.
welcome. And speaking of that, you know what? It's gonna be. I think this is gonna be like, if anything ever happens to me, Allie, I think you'll probably be the one that's gonna take over the show if anything ever happens. And we do have one last final comment before we end it, real quick, because it is a really good question by Boombox. He actually asked, what do you guys stream on? I would like to join the chat if on the week. Ooh, yeah. You know what? Shoot me a message on my Telegram at Mighty Red Wolf, and I'll actually give you the details on that. I would love to have more people on the show. It's just that today's show is more of like a serious matter kind of thing, and of course we're starting to plan out the ideas for Thursday for Drama Pup, which of course you're either going to be the one that's hosting it, or we could just do co-hosting again, something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it
Yes.
out. But anyways, thank you guys so much for whoever watched, and oh shit, where's that stupid banner at again? I just had it. Oh, there it goes. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more episodes. You can find me on Twitter and Telegram at Mighty Red Wolf. You could probably find me wherever else on Facebook. And of course, we've got more episodes to come. And of course, we're always going to have now our permanent co-host, Allie, now.
Bye bye. Ow.
Oh, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of the week, and great. I'm not excited for my birthday. Boo! It's coming up. Shit. I don't want any gifts either. I mean it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Me.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.